Look, Supergirl was shit. We don't have to pretend it wasn't. So today I want to talk about some things that were on my mind of why exactly did that movie fail. And I'm gonna start right off with the very first thing, and this might be the biggest problem with the new DCU, and that is writing. Now, I don't know if you know this, but many people, including myself, had a lot of problem with the way this movie was written, the way the screenplay was written. And I'm gonna talk about that later, but look at this shit. So this film is written by Anna Nogueira. Now let's see what she has done to have this privilege of writing a big project like this. The only thing she has written is this. I assume it's a short film, which is poorly rated, so how the fuck does this person get to write a movie like Supergirl in the first place? James Gunn, I know you're watching every single video that I make. Can I write the new Batman film? And I promise you, this has nothing to do with women in Hollywood, with female writers. I don't give a fuck who wrote my movie, as long as it is written well. And this movie was not fucking written well. And the worst part is, this movie is heavily influenced by a comic book named Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Yet, this film makes mistakes that the comic book somehow avoided. How the fuck does that even happen? The villain guy in this film, his introduction scene in this movie was copy-paste of pretty much every single tense scene of a villain introduction. You have seen it 1,000 times before. You have seen it in Inglourious Basterds. You have seen it in, there's a scene in Thor Ragnarok, which is very similar to what you get in this film. But unlike those movies, in this movie, there was absolutely no tension because the villain had no bigger goals. He had no bigger reasons to do what he does. He just comes out in his house, eats a fucking pie, and kills the fucking family. So why did we stretch that scene so much if it was ultimately fucking pointless? And somehow, magically, he missed Ruth. He didn't kill her. And you really have to see that scene. It's so fucking stupid. How did he even miss her? Or why? It was a very dumb scene that made no fucking sense. So when it comes to the plot, long story short, Ruth asks Supergirl for help to avenge her father. And Supergirl is a fucking mess, which I didn't mind, as some people did. I really didn't. In fact, there's one golden scene in the movie. And if they only followed that scene, if they developed the story based on that scene, the movie would have been much better. And it's a simple short scene where Supergirl says, Superman sees good in everyone, but I see the truth. And it's such a good scene because it shows the difference between Superman and Supergirl. And I thought it was going to be, well, something more was going to come up with these scenes. But nothing fucking did. We got to see how Krypton slowly died from radiation, and Supergirl, Kara Zor-El, witnessed that all. But that scene, or those 2 to 3 scenes, lasted like 2 minutes. How the fuck do you expect us to connect with a character if that's all the backstory that you give us? Also, why was she against Ruth killing the villain guy? I mean, she said it multiple times in the film, not to do it, you're gonna feel bad about it. How the fuck do you know? Also, why was she against Ruth killing the villain guy? Well, she told her multiple times not to do it because she wouldn't feel good about it. But what the fuck do you know about it? What, did you try avenging your parents by having a fist fight with kryptonite or some shit and you lost and you didn't feel good. What the fuck was the point of that? How do you know she won't feel good? What experience do you have with avenging anyone? Or are you simply drinking too much and you feel bad about it and that's not bringing your parents? Like, and it's just so unclear. The motives are blurred as fuck. The motives are confusing as hell, or the writing is so bad that it is just expected that you just nod your head and say, yeah, killing is bad. Yeah, avenging won't make you feel good. Yes. I think the movie simply wants you to be okay with that. You know, just killing equals bad. Even though she fucking kills the guy at the end for poisoning her fucking CGI dog. The worst part in this film is when the villain guy poisons Crypto. And he is the only person in the whole fucking galaxy that has the antidote. And guess where that antidote is? It's hanging on his neck the entire fucking movie. Why? Who the fuck writes something like that? Why would he hang it on his fucking neck the entire movie? When it comes to directing, yeah, that is also shit. Well, directing and writing, because for the good part of this film, Supergirl is not even fighting like Supergirl. You know, some fucking flying tornado kicks or some shit. No, she's just fighting like fucking John Wick for some reason. And half of the time, well, not half of the time, 90% of the time, you can't see shit because the directing is so bad and everything is happening in these fucking shadows and you can't even tell if that's a fucking Supergirl or some CGI Squidward alien. Yeah, there's a scene of one alien that looks like Squidward just for the sake of saying a Squidward joke. I swear to God, that's a fucking scene in this film. So overall, when it comes to directing, this whole movie was just too dark. It lacked some fucking colors, the entire film. Overall, Supergirl as a character in this film was just bland. You don't feel anything for her. You sure as fuck are not cheering for her, because why would you? Because the writer of this film cannot write high stakes to save its fucking life. You know what? While watching this film, you just feel that nothing fucking matters. Everything will work out, everything will be fine, nothing is really important, or nothing felt important. And that is the exact same problem I had, funny enough, with Superman. Look, Man of Steel is not a perfect film. In fact, it is far away from what Superman is, but at least it had some fucking balls to commit to what it wants to be. This film doesn't want to be anything. It just wants to be a mediocre slop that you forget the second you walk out of the theater. And in that regard, it succeeds. Those were just some of the thoughts that were on my head, and if you have some thoughts about this film, positive or negative, please write down below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel for more amazing and weird content. Follow me on Letterboxd and like this video for more. Thank you, and I will see you next time.